No, I don't. Hold on. Wait, do I? I might. Hey, hello, everybody. I was just asking myself if I have reversals in this deck, and I think I might. Maybe not, actually. Yeah, I do, because there's one in reverse. I'm not. Ooh, Nine of Pentacles in reverse, Ace of Swords, and the Empress. With the Emperor? At the bottom of the deck? I didn't even know they were at the bottom of the deck. Okay, well, we looked there for a reason. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi, family. What's up? Um, I'm taking a break because I need a break from the 3D. From all the stuff that's happening. I needed a break, and I haven't been on here for a minute. So I was like, I'll come in. I'll pull a few cards. I wanted to pull a few cards a few days ago because a few days ago I had a dream that I was like applying for grad school, or like I was at the school, but I hadn't yet like applied or whatever. So I was like checking it out. And it's interesting because I have a lot of dreams where the setting will be my elementary school, my middle school, or my high school. And I've been like passing through elementary a little bit. I even had a dream about elementary school like last night. And I'm not a student in any of these dreams anymore, which is interesting. Because before I would like be a student, but now it's like I'm not even a student here. Whenever I see a teacher and they're like, "Why aren't you in class?" or whatever. Um, but I was in grad school for the first time, and like I've had a few dreams about college campus too, but I haven't been like grad school before. So I feel like something is graduated there. Exiled. What is this about? So with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the Empress, the Emperor, and the World, and Justice, and the Hermit. Hold up, with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. That's a lot of majors. Hold up, that's a lot of majors. So the Ace of Swords. I don't know what reckonings, realizations. Maybe this Nine of Pentacles is some defensiveness that we're realizing isn't really beneficial for us, because what it's doing is it's keeping us from this sort of harmonious co-creation between Empress energy and Emperor energy, which feels like with these two, this is making it feels like making dreams a reality, or moving forward in a way that makes it's like there's an element of creativity here, but it's positioning it to actually be like fruitful, if that makes any sense. There's co-creation happening between the Emperor and the Empress. Oh, well, we have that solar eclipse coming up, the sun and the moon, and it looks like an eclipse sun in that. And then there's the World and Justice with the Hermit and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse behind that. So with the Hermit and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it's like if the work has been done, I feel like that's the enlightenment. And so it puts us in a position to, it's like everything is already queued up. And so this carefulness that we used to have, it's like we don't need anymore because we got it. With the Hermit, like whatever Eight of Pentacles thing we were doing, it's like it's a part of us. And so maybe like in the past we had to a lot more intentionally like not do certain things or do certain things, but it's like now it's become a habit, or now that habit is broken. We can proceed in a way that isn't as sort of like slow and cautious and defensive and overly sort of analytical or criticizing. And with the Ace of Swords, it would be a knowing. I like that. Both this was at the bottom of the deck. Both of these have like a lightning bolt motif in them. And so with exiled is what? Illusion of separation, disconnect, and isolation. It's number 14. It's like the need to maintain the illusion is over. Or we're starting to realize how much of an illusion it feels like, very like uh self-deluded type of energy though. Like it could be the shadow side of Piscean energy, where like Pisces is the dreamer, but Pisces can also dream up these nightmares that it subjects itself to, where it can look at something in a light that's a lot worse than what it actually is and then be subjugated by it. Just like it can look at something as a lot better than what it actually is and, go through about it that way. So it's very like 12th house type of energy. And with this, I feel like we're realizing, or we realized in the past how we did it to self. And that's what put us on this Eight of Pentacles hermit journey with the Father of Wands behind it. Definitely getting like all of that ego-y. It's like getting the ego in control, balancing our internal light and our dark, that it positions us to move forward in a way that's a lot less encumbered, but it's also a lot more inviting to opportunity and to pleasant experiences. Um, but again, it's the result of everything that we've done. And now that we've incorporated it, we've integrated it with this Hermit card, it's like we don't have to worry about the things that we used to worry about. And with Justice in the World, I feel like it's reading as an energy of release, into letting this be, into letting that separation, that illusion of separation fall away, and to like all of that. All of that, okay? Into all of that. I feel like I'm like about to start talking in circles. What's at the bottom of the deck here? Exiled was so interesting. Now isolation, exiled and isolation. And the last part of exile was isolation. Isolation is number 25, which is loneliness, reconnection, and home. And there's 11 between exiled and isolation. And 11 being sort of that element of awakening, but it's awakening and it's like being fully in a new experience. And so it almost holds an energy of like rebirth, because it's like everything that we know of the world, we need to be in a position to allow all of that to be proven false, because we're no longer tied to the old world. And so as long as we continue to hold old world beliefs, we'll continue to sort of force things in a way that more closely mirrors where we've come from, even though that's not like what has to be. I like this. Yeah, Justice in the World. It's like those old karmic chapters are closed and we're coming into something brand new. That's gorgeous. And both of these are twos. No, the world is 21. I don't know why I was thinking the world was 20. That's Judgment. Oh, it's almost 2021. Okay, all right. Work. And Justice actually would be 20, or it could be 20, because Judgment would be 200. It's the second two that we come across. So for me, this is 2021. Where this is the 20 and this is the 21. So Justice and Judgment could have been 2020. Okay, that was interesting. I like that. I'm a fan of that. And they were like all upright. Knight of Pentacles. Oh, look, there's Judgment. I don't know why I'm looking at the top of the deck. Knight of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, Judgment, and the Ten of Wands. Like all upright. Knight of Pentacles into the Hermit is what we've been doing as we've been rebalancing the physical. But since it's like the way we walk has changed, like that is the judgment call. Is my mom done already? Oh, okay. That is the judgment call. Because we no longer accept the things that aren't acceptable as well. It's a part of like living it. And there's the Six of Cups. And I feel like it's like a healed inner child rebirth of old dreams type of energy. And I think that's another reason why there's a Ten of Swords in reverse. That happened. I think that's another. Ten of Swords in reverse came out at the end when I was using the vice verses as well on the Legacy channel. But I forgot what I was saying. That's the reason why we've been doing something or had to do something or something. Okay, Ace of Wands in reverse. What's this about? Ace of Wands in reverse with the Three of Cups upright. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Wands. I feel like this could be something that it feels like we weren't permitted to reach the end of it. And because of that, we kind of sort of gave up or the spark died. And then with this Three of Cups, that's an energy of commiseration. Right? Or it's an energy of finding reasons why this didn't work out besides it just like not being the time. Oh, this is in reverse? Wait, was it upright? I felt like it was upright, but maybe it's in reverse. I don't know. Now with the Nine of Wands in reverse, I saw it as upright before, and so that being upright before is just like it's not yet time. And so no matter how hard we would have tried, that road was closed. But now with the Nine of Wands in reverse, it's like the path has been made open. But whatever we picked up, now that this Ace of Wands is going upright, whatever we picked up, whatever energy we're in when we were sulking or trying to find all the reasons why it didn't work or trying to date, like, or escape, whatever, it's time to leave that behind to reclaim this as we go upright. Because again, it feels like something in this is linked to like, this is why things never work out for me and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, going where we're going, Nine of Cups, upright. There's no room for that. Right? It's like solutions only thinking, Temperance in reverse. Time for action is now. Nanao. Who is Nanao? I don't remember. I remember something like Nanao. Hey, that's no think. Oh goodness. There's the Ten of Wands. Upright with the Eight of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I'm just trying to shuffle these and get to the other deck. But with the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Swords upright, this is the burden of change, right? And it's like, if we have something that's old and worn out and we're going to replace it with something new, it's like we have to pay for that. And we may be like, well, you know what I have right now, it's not optimal or desired, but it does the job. And I don't really feel like going out and trying to learn something new or blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like that. Like, I don't want to go back to school, even though I want a better paying job. And I've kind of sort of reached the limit of what I can do without an insane amount, not insane, but without an additional amount of experience or opportunity or network. Right. Because, like, there are certain things that they just use to get degrees to gatekeep, regardless of whether or not it's actually necessary. And here's the 10th one where we just had the 9. So again, this is saying like if that change has not happened, then the road would still be barred forward. And so it's not like with Temperance in reverse, it's not like if you wait long enough, it'll eventually happen. It's like, no, if you've done the healing, then it becomes open to you with that star card. I'm low-key kind of debating on whether or not I want to pull cards for myself for next year or not. Oh, there's the magician. Okay, we're just gonna put these off to the side because I don't want any more jumpers. These is what I want to get into right here. Let's see what thing comes out. I was just like, ooh, like graduation, grad school means that, you know, the difficulty is increasing. We're becoming more specialized. We're taking our knowledge even further. And it's on the path to sagedom, I guess. I don't know. Ooh, what was that? Magical Realms? I think it was. All right. Let's see what card we get today. For today. And I've also been thinking about like opening up personals. Like I don't necessarily think anybody will do it, but it's to be open to it. But then I'm like, see, but what if someone gets a personal that I don't want to read for? And part of me is like, oh, don't be like that. That's been a lot of not lessons, but lately it's been a lot of questions of like me asking myself who and how I want to be. And so sometimes I just be like, why am I like this? And then it's like, I feel like I have a legitimate reason to feel how I feel and to not want what I don't want. But it's like, do I want to be like that? Right? Because I could just establish like healthier boundaries or like firmer boundaries and still engage in certain spaces instead of just like avoiding them altogether. I don't know. But if you see them pop up, you know, that's what I'm going to be doing. Ooh, the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra. Interesting. Okay. Can I get a quad, please? Oh, that is. Thank you. This is play, adventure, right? Bottom of the deck is the heart portal. Look at the pinks and greens. Look at the pinks and greens. It's adventure number one, I'm pretty sure. I don't get this card often. Yeah, number one, adventure. Adventure is innocence, play, and discovery. Well, talking about that 11, that brand new, both feet in the new world, don't take anything from the old because it'll hold you back. The heart portal, number 20. Hey, look, 20 plus 1. That's a 21. That's a world energy. Plus 2 of the ones is an 11. And I was talking about how justice is the 20 for me because it's the second 2 that we come across. And so that would be, if this is an 11, that's the meeting of both. Like there's the fairy on the other side, and then there's like the human on this side. But in the light, she's like got her wings a little bit. I feel like that's sort of meeting our higher self fully, right? I was gonna say like meeting halfway, but it's like a full. We have to meet all the way because like there's no halfway between this dimension and others. Like if we can't fully cross those over, we have to go all the way. Receptivity, generosity, and mistrusting is the heart portal. It mistrusts when it's not aligned. So trust is going to be important. And I had a dream. I didn't talk about it really, but in the dream where I met myself, I feel like my new mantra is like, I'm dreaming, I'm dreaming. When I'm in dreams, I'm like, oh, okay, now let's try to do something. Now, sometimes I'll try to do something that I guess it's not the right time to do because then things will start to go black and I won't see anything. And then it's like, okay, I guess I'll go along with the dream for a little bit, or I'll try to like change the way I'm going about this. Because I remember one day I was going to go looking for somebody. And I was like, okay, let me find him. And then it went black. And so I was like, I guess I'm going to have to keep dreaming this dream or whatever. And then somebody walks in who I could tell was supposed to be that person. but they didn't look like that person. So I'm like, I guess it's a representative of that person or something. I don't know. But like in the dream, like it's like, oh, that's supposed to be XYZ, but they don't like it's obviously not. It's like when you're watching a show and they replace your favorite actor or actress, and you're like, hey, what happened to the person who I watched the show for? Anyway, why was I talking about that? Yeah, because sometimes it's like there are different stages of lucid dreaming for me. It's weird. But anyway, when I met myself, um, I took me somewhere, but I couldn't see where I was going before I went there. So I opened this door and it was just like a void. It was just black. And I'm like, I guess I trust myself because girl, I don't know where this leads. But I stepped through and it led to the next part. Everything was fine, but I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was telling one of my friends about the dream, and I was like, yeah, like I opened the door and it was just black. And I was like, oh, like it triggered in me, like, oh, the unknown. I don't know what's on the other side. But I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to lead myself astray. And so I felt like sharing that because of the mistrusting, I guess, when it's not in balance. And this is a trust of self as well. And I think that's why it's so important that, hey, look, there's the Nine of Pentacles. It's up right now. But the Sun card, interesting. Okay. That's why it's like with that Eight of Pentacles in reverse into the Hermit, like we've already incorporated everything. So we don't have to like mistrust ourselves. Mistrusting ourselves will probably get us to not do whatever because, that's just how it is. So tell me about this adventure. Oh, I wanted to read it. It's not too. This card is like I never saw this card until maybe a year ago, and I've seen it a handful of times lately. I see it more honestly when I pull for other people than whenever I pick these up for myself. Honestly. So adventure. This is innocence, play, and discovery. It's connected to the Byzantium pink colorway. It says adventure resonates to that of innocence, transforming into maturity. This sacred ray holds the key to unlocking inner doorways to future self communication. Hey, powerful seeds of knowledge mirror secrets of future worlds, and alternate aspects of the soul are discovered. Inward journeys through the cosmos will unfold great mysteries and prompt advanced development of soul growth. This supernatural ray expresses love for awareness and supports boundless courage into the unknown. The oracle interpretation is it is time to play and have fun in your life. Expand and try new things. Allow your inner child a place to explore and discover. And don't get bogged down in all the details. Something new wants to come into your life. You hold the key to discovering the answers to your situation. Carolite and morganite are the companion crystals, with Idaho tansy being the essential oil here. So let's dig into this. I love that. I love that. I want like 3 cards would be perfect. Well, let's see. I'm gonna give these 3 shuffles, and then I'm gonna do the Magician with the Mother of Cups. So with the Mother of Cups, there was an element of knowing here. The question is, will we go with it or not, or will we fight it? Will we recognize it when it comes in? Will we allow it? Will we run away? The Sun again with the Knight of Swords, Sun of Swords type energy. Now, last time we saw the Son of Swords, he was defying the Mother of Swords with the Eight of Pentacles, and he was facing the Father of Swords, and the Father of Swords was the adventurous energy, where the Mother of Swords is going to be stuck in the web of her knowledge and knowing and everything she knows. And so with the Sun card, I feel like that is us with that Knight of Swords. It's like taking that page of Swords energy of something new thought, new ideas, but actually moving forward with it and not just like thinking about it. It's putting action behind whatever this newness is. Let me do one more. Then we'll cut there. Bottom of the deck is Le Tower. The Tower. What's behind the Tower? The Four of Swords. We have to be willing to have our peace disturbed, honestly. And that's something that's maybe a little difficult right now, especially. I feel like, earlier this year, and I was saying, because it was like the veil is being lifted in a lot of ways. And if we choose to veil our own eyes because we can't face the truth and reality of reality, it's just going to cause like further roadblocks and blockages later. Because it's like we can't as selectively anymore choose to ignore certain things. And now it's like, okay, if you put the veil down here, it goes all the way down. This ain't a partial veil. It's like one curtain. And either we lower the whole curtain or we raise the whole curtain. And you can't turn your head. It's like that. Look at it. You're like, face it, deal with it, solve it. Yeah, and that's the Tower and the Four of Swords. It's like willing to have our peace disturbed to have a actual foundation, or to be able to hold that within us, to be able to hold a peace that isn't dependent upon an ignorance of certain things in the world or in our own lives or within our own selves, right? With this also, it's looking in the mirror of truth of the self. And if we can't look at the truth of the self or the world around us, then there's no way for us to see beyond the situation that we're in. And if oneness is a thing, if you can't look at the truth of reality and the ugliness of the world around you and the darkness in the world that needs to come to the light so we can face it and deal with it and move forward, then you're basically ignoring self. And you're ignoring all of that which is within you that is at the door, but you can't be bothered to get off the couch. And all of these are in reverse. So, right? Because at current, it's the Three of Pentacles in reverse. The Three of Pentacles in reverse could be either us trying to do something alone that we should be seeking counsel and guidance with, or a community in, because something. Oh, I just got. Y'all see this? The truth, girl. But yeah, I just got an email with the title was "The Truth" in all caps. The rest of the email was like, okay. The title is what matters. It's either that, like we're going at something alone that we shouldn't be or that we need not be, and that may because of this mistrusting energy. And that's also why the heart and adventure is important, because the heart and adventure will guide us and lead us to those who are like these key components of us moving forward. So maybe that's why I keep asking myself, well, who do I want to be? Right. But anyway. And then with the hermit being the blockage, yeah, it's that like, I feel like it's mistrusting. It's not able to expand outside of self because it doesn't even trust self. It could either be that, or we didn't take whatever resources that we had when they were available, or because we've mismanaged resources, we don't have now in the moment what we should have had or could have had to overcome whatever challenges before us. In the past position is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and the future position is the Strength in reverse. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse is, again, it's like turning down. This is that sort of like that energy of like not being able to look at the world around us as real, not being able to deal with it in some kind of like more practical way, and seeking these airy, watery, or fiery escapes of the reality around us. But again, earth is the final element. So if it's happening in the physical, it's already been like prescribed or ordered, sent for in those other realms. And so it's like it's this interesting mix of like dealing with things but also moving forward at the same time. So it's handling things but not getting stuck on it. And then in the future with the strength in reverse, it just I feel like it mirrors that energy again of like we didn't practice before the game. And so now that it's game day, we may not perform. Two of Wands in reverse. Ooh, that ain't going nowhere. I do want to pull, excuse me, oof, to see what happens if we have, because I feel like that's more of a if we didn't. Death card with the Two of Wands. So that was that Ten of Wands. Transformation is the only way forward with the Nine of Cups upright and that Death card. Transformation is the way forward to get what it is that we've actually desired, which I've been saying. And with the Sun of Wands and the Nine of Cups, I feel like that's an internal sort of rebalancing that puts everything in alignment with that Sun. Okay, one more. Okay. Okay. Ooh, Ace of Cups. That's the linker. So we have the Hierophant crossed by Temperance with the Ten of Swords and the Seven of Wands. Bottom of the deck is Justice in reverse. So all of this, I love the Heart Portal at the bottom of the deck because what's separating this from this is the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is reading as the all. The all within the all that flows between everything. And so in the past here, we have the Ten of Swords, which is that ego death. And we're moving towards the Seven of Wands, which is that enlightenment. It's like birth canal-y type of light in the dark energy. It reminds me of God of War 3. I should just start saying like this game or this movie because I'm kind of bad at not spoiling things. My brother tells me all the time because like if he starts watching a show that I've watched and I'll be like, "Oh, where are you?" and then he'll tell me and I'll be like, "Is that like where this happened?" because I forget, like sometimes I forget the chronology of things. And then I accidentally end up spoiling something. He's like, "Wow, I didn't see that." But I was watching this one show and he was like, "Wait, that character is alive? I thought he was dead." And like literally a minute to 2 minutes after he said that, the character died. So at first I was a little mad, but at least he braced me for that moment. So I was prepared to lose him, I guess. Anyway, it reminds me of this one part where everything is dark, but hope, the one thing that was left in Pandora's box, is sort of lighting the way forward. And that's this. I feel like if we've been able to hold on to, see, but there's a difference because it's like hope was the thing to hold on to, but it wasn't to reject everything happening. It was to hold on to hope to create the bridge, the pathway forward out of the situation instead of blocking out the situation and doing that Pisces thing, that 12th house thing where we just like overlay something on top of it. Now, if you overlay something, it may change like the visual, but it doesn't change, like it only changes one sense. It's not a five sense, it's not a complete sensory override. And so again, with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, it's like you're not actually dealing with it. All you're doing is you're changing your sense of sight, but if you smell it, If you taste it, if you touch it, if you use any other sense, it would still be the same. And so this is the complete transformation that happened in the past. This is going through it. Because again, what was limiting this is needing, like, there's a lack of having one's peace disturbed or one's vision of the world or whatever that needed to fall apart. And because we're still holding on to whatever, or because we didn't practice before the game, and like this is a long time ago when I was like, I hope we do this, because I have a feeling that like when the big thing comes, when the Wheel of Fortune moves, the only thing, or one of the things that's primarily going to determine who the Wheel of Fortune moves for and who it doesn't move for is who's willing to do the work or who's already doing the work. Because for what it requires later, if we haven't made, that's like I was saying, you can't meet halfway, because if you're not there when they're there, you're going to miss the window. And that's too much ground to cover in the space that you need to cover it in. And so this is the work, all of the transformation being done in the past, so that at the present, we're sitting at the Hierophant with the key to this door, the doorways that this was talking about. And Temperance here, like this is the moment that we've been waiting for. This is the moment that we've been working for. Because like I said before, temperance is not measured by time. It's measured by healing. It's measured by growth. It's measured by other things. Right? Divine timing isn't like, oh, I'll just sit here and wait until something happens. Like that's what the Nine of Pentacles was all, or the Knight of Wands was all about. Like the way forward was permitted, the way forward was prohibited for a reason, and without addressing that reason, now you've hit the Ten of Wands. It's still a dead end. You can't move past it. Because with that Temperance in reverse, it's not just about waiting, it's about the work that you do in the meantime. And this is an ignition that happens within the self that illuminates everything. And it's like, it feels very like birth canal type of energy that allows things to be birthed through. And then Justice at the bottom of the deck in reverse, with the World now in reverse and the Six of Swords in reverse behind it. Six of Swords in reverse means, or I'm reading that as, because we faced it before, now we don't have to rely on the external to do things that we can do for ourselves. It's like we're already positioned. We already have what we need inside of us, and we've already done the work. The cycles are already closed. Because we were willing to look at those injustices in the world and within self, and to correct within self, to again create these bridges and pathways to correct outside of self. And it's also interesting that mistrusting is here. I'm not going to say why it's interesting when I'm talking about the future and moving forward, and why mistrust might be down there for an out of balance heart chakra. It's like we really have to let go of the narrative that the world is out to get us, but we also have to, it's like, restructure ourselves and the world to make that a reality. It's both. There's a need to put action behind that Piscean energy to, instead of overlaying, it's actual like reworking. And then it's like it brings in the 8th house, it brings in Scorpio. And then I guess let's complete the trine and bring in Cancer, because it all starts at the home, it all starts in the heart. So beautiful things coming up. We just got to be open and vulnerable to it. Let's get this final message. My brother. Ooh, I was just thinking about how hungry I am and how, oh, Wheel of Fortune. Is that, I think it's technically in reverse, but the Wheel of Fortune in reverse puts the sun up top. Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it's already queued up, because again, that work has already been done. Right? It's one of those things where it's like, if you wait until the day of, you're gonna miss it because stock is limited. And so the people who pre-ordered are the people. It's like a first come first serve type of thing, and it's like you if you're gonna run a marathon, you should probably train for it. You know, it may behoove you to have trained for it, but if the sun is coming out tomorrow, it's gonna be dark today before that happens, right? Because the clock changes. Like we don't start midnight when the sun rises, unfortunately. So if you want to make it to 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 5 a.m., 5:45 a.m., you got to make it through midnight and 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and all those times when the energy is new, but it's still dark. That's what that Seven of Wands internal fire with the Hermit that came out after that Eight of Pentacles in reverse earlier put us in a position to do, to be solid within self, that we don't need the external environment and the world around us to mirror and echo and comfort and console us, to have that peace where we're creating that peace within that then radiates outward for self and the collective. But if you can't, again, it's like if we're only running away and not actually facing or working through anything, nothing happens. And we're kind of sort of in a it's time to make things happen season. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've only been on my journey for like 2 years now. But it's so wild to me when I hear people who have like been on their journeys longer than me talk about like going through shadow work and stuff. Or I guess like we all do it differently, but like when I do my shadow work, like my intention is to actually address the things that come up and not to just like find ways to make myself okay with it or to ignore it or to like create some kind of workaround. And in my mind, it's just like, I don't know, sometimes I guess I would think that some people would handle it better or would navigate through it a little bit more efficiently or would have in the past to make doing it in the present not as bad. But all it does is it prolongs the work and it compounds shadow. But again, for a while, that was acceptable. It was the standard because we weren't sort of coming into what we're coming into now. So again, it would have been one of those Nine of Wands types of things where it's like, you know, for the time that was acceptable, but milk ain't 25 cents anymore. You got to pay at least $1 if you want it. It's interesting though, because milk is getting cheaper. Exiled. I'm like, why is Exile coming up? Why does Exile keep coming up? Bottom of the deck is Majestic Eminence, number 27. Majestic Eminence says Priestess, Divine Feminine, and Worth. And Majestic Eminence used to come out all the time. Exiled, though. I'll read it because it keeps coming out. Number 14. There aren't too many just like straight up rough cards in this deck. Challenges and Exiled are two of them. And the Guardians can be, for me, kind of a little bit. Sometimes in like, because it's like blocks and negativity and stuff like that, I think. So Exiled is illusion of separation, disconnect, and isolation. Isolation is another one. Number 25. I forgot already. This is connected with the cerulean fire colorway. Exiled resonates to the illusion of isolation and separation. All souls are innately endowed with a quest for both self and interconnection. However, clouds of illusion can sway the self into believing in universal separation, thus initiating states of segregation and disconnection. When limited beliefs arise from past or present dimensional timescapes and existing feelings of being exiled or outcast prevail, it is this encouraging ray that swiftly rescues and reminds the soul of its unison with life forms and spiritual consciousness. So it's like rescuing you from that separation. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that it's like that's the veil. We put up these veils of separation to separate ourselves from the reality of the world around us. when everyone was like, oh, what was in Cancer? It was like, we need to go into our hearts and do this and do that, and everything happening in the world is just an illusion, and it's all of this, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, North Node Cancer was, you know, the last 18 months we're in North Node Gemini now. All that North Node Cancer, get into your heart stuff, like, should have been done. Because now in North Node Gemini, from that heart space, we need to be making decisions and doing things in our local community and within self. South Node Sagittarius, Jupiter, Pisces. Yeah, Piscean energy. It's not as outdated or restrictive as Jupiterian or Sagittarian energy right now, but it's like the other side of it. So just waiting for things to change, not gonna work. Illusion, not gonna work. It's time to face reality. And then what? Virgo would be the other one. So yeah, it's time to face reality and actually do things to make it better. The Oracle interpretation, you are not an outsider, and it's now time to engage into life and connect with others. Allow yourself to feel loved. It may appear that doors are locked, but that is not the case. Review your thoughts and allow the magic of life to help you. Acknowledge the opportunities that are right in front of you. Fluorite and garnet are the crystals, with cinnamon being the oil here. And to me, this reads as like it's not too late. With that Three of Pentacles in reverse at the top, and then the Hierophant being the energy at the bottom, the Hierophant having the key, the Three of Pentacles in reverse, like still being in that sort of stubborn, like I can do it all on my own type of energy. Like, I try to be careful with how I deliver things because I never necessarily fully believe anything is like impossible or the time is whatever. It would just be a lot easier if you had trained for the marathon, but just because you didn't train doesn't mean that you won't finish, right? Not everyone necessarily needs it. Some people are like naturally talented and they just like naturally whatever. But you know, things still have to be done. It just would have been easier. Like me and everything I'm doing right now. A lot of this stuff could have been done a long time ago, but you know, I'm doing it all right now because yeah. But I knew I was capable at the same time too. So it's right on time. Divine timing, I guess. Ooh, the Fool card and the Death card. Dead bird, live bird, fresh bird, old bird. Today is the first day of the best days of your life. Just popped into my mind. It's a song. I can't remember any of the words to that song right now. But there's the one part that's like, today is the first day of the best days of your life. Father of Swords made an appearance, but he turned back over. King of Swords energy. And I was talking about that Knight of Swords. So this is about us sort of, I don't know what that was. Might have been the Two of Pentacles. It's this energy of us sort of like, because the fathers are perceived as external, but they actually are internal to make themselves appear that way, right? Just like Queen energy can be a little bit more reserved sometimes, it's a little bit more retrospective and introspective. It's a little bit more introspective, but it's actually more external to appear that way, right? It's like, oh, the queens are so nice and giving and they're of the people. That's because they're always out there with the people. And the kings are inside making all the decisions, not all the decisions, but making the decisions, taking in information, having these meetings and those meetings, right? And so even though the king is perceived as the one holding this power and authority and can be the flagship of the country to the outside world, he does so by continuously having that internal discourse. And that's, I think, that King of Swords energy, but it's taking on again with that Knight of Swords, moving with the energy of the Page of Swords, but putting it into action to then have this something be known at the king. King of Swords is like, it's proven. It's not just theory. It's not just hearsay anymore. Okay. Ah, well, yep, I'll take it. Lovers on the table. I'll take this Ace of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Ace of Pentacles still in reverse with the Six of Pentacles upright behind it. It only wilts if we allow it to, and it will flourish and grow and be as abundant as the energy we give it. Right off the bat, Ace of Cups, it might need a lot of water with the Lovers in reverse. Ace of Cups upright with the Lovers in reverse. I mean, immediately it's that like not everyone can go with you type of energy, but I'm not necessarily feeling it that way. There's an energy here of something that already is. It's like we were given this chunk of gold or a diamond or a pearl that was dusty or in the rough. And so we didn't know it at the time. We couldn't see what it was. But over time, it's like the opposite of erosion. It's restoration over time with this Ace of Cups upright, because the more we opened up and we allowed the light of self and the universe around us, spirit and God, the divine, whatever you believe in, to remove the scale that was built up that had clouded our vision in a very interconnected type of way. It's like it reveals the truth of something, either within self or something outside, and it shines in a way that it never did before. It's almost like salvation was right at home. Like the Wizard of Oz, there are these journeys that we make where sometimes we realize that what we were wanting or what we needed, we had inside or with us the whole time. We just weren't able to see it at the time. And that's divine timing. And again, it's not like, if Dorothy sits in lollipop land for long enough, eventually, she'll be able to go home. It's like, no, she's still got to meet the Tin Man and the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, and the Wicked Witch, and lose Toto, find Toto, then end up in Oz, and then all this other kind of stuff. For Glinda to tell her that she can go home. Glinda, literally the first person she met, or one of the first people she met when she got in Oz. Literally the person that gave her the shoes or told her to take the shoes in the beginning of the movie. At the end of the movie, it's like, yeah, just click your heels and you're home, girl. So there's an element of appreciation here. And there's an element of, it's like the deconstruction of ego as well. Something is made anew, washed clean, purified by light, and all kinds of stuff. And it puts us in a position to go the distance and to make those decisions that we wouldn't have made before. And with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom, it's almost like at this point, after this, then that's when the Ace of Pentacles doesn't matter. Because here, just like Dorothy at the end of the movie, we have the ability to create home because of that 12th house, 8th house work that we did, that transformation and establishing that connection, but also at the same time, removing ourselves from things that affected us in ways that we weren't even in a position to see. And there's a difference between claiming sovereignty over something and actually having it. Right? If this is the gold that's lies within us, there's a lot of pyrite out there, a lot of fool's gold that we'll hang on to and that will treat as gold, and then we find out that it isn't. Just because you call it gold doesn't make it gold. So That's what I got. Ultimately, though, the energy is really, really beautiful, and lots of things are coming forward. Again, it's just, it's like these things that are second nature to us. We've had the opportunity to like rewrite our second nature, or even rewrite our main nature by getting. It's like we're rewriting our second nature by getting closer to our true nature. Excuse me. And like, there's this version of us that the world necessitated, that we kind of sort of poured ourselves into. If we are liquid, and that version of us is the vessel, and we learn to feel that. But now it's like we're being guided in a way that's a lot less restricted, and there's not as much earthly stability there, because it's grounded in elements that exist before earth. And that's why, a minute ago I was like, if you're using your external reality to validate anything, you're doing it in a way that will make it more difficult for you to get to where you're going, and to be where you're supposed to be and who you're supposed to be. Because everything, it's like it precedes the external. And so it's like you're looking at the slowest part of the process to see if you are where you are. It's like a pulley or something, or a lever or something. It reminds me of gears, but you have these smaller gears that are connected to these really big gears. And so you got to move the small one a lot just to get the big one to move a little. And so if you're trying to judge how much you're doing by how much this thing is moving, that's where that disconnect is. And it also creates this shift in power, because it's like the further from the small wheel you get, the lesser the impact of your power. But if you come into the knowing that what you do here has a direct effect on this big one, even if it's not observably immediate, then it's like it localizes, centralizes, and fulminates. It increases the illumination of that light. Right. It's like the sun is the sun because it's the sun at the sun. The sun isn't the sun because it's running all the way to Pluto to be a little light, and then it's running to Neptune to shine a little light, and it's running to all these planets to try to shine a little light. It's like, no, the sun concentrates all of its energy on itself, trusting that the reaction will broadcast, will amplify that to the levels that it needs to be. Anyway, I don't know. All right, I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you act on alignment to make it even better, because it's possible. I believe, and you can believe whatever you want.